When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
Study and play come together on a Windows 11 PC. And for a limited time, college students get the best of both worlds. Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
Episode 263, AI for Learning a New Language Faster in 2026 Good Day. I'm your host, Robin. And today I want to talk about learning a new language, something that millions of people put at the top of their list every single January, and that most of them have quietly abandoned by the middle of February. Not because they are not capable, and not because they do not genuinely want it, but because the traditional ways of learning a language are slow, expensive, disconnected from the way language actually works in real life, and very difficult to fit around a life that already has too much in it. Sitting with a textbook conjugating verbs in a language you cannot yet speak is not how any human being has ever learned to communicate. It is how we learn to pass exams, which is a different thing entirely. In 2026, artificial intelligence has genuinely transformed what is possible for the language learner. And I think if you try to learn a language before and gave up, as most people have, it is absolutely worth starting again, because the experience is now fundamentally different. Imagine you have always wanted to learn Italian. Maybe you travel to Italy every couple of years, and you are tired of feeling like a tourist who can only gesture at menus and say thank you with the wrong intonation. Maybe you have Italian family, and you want to be able to speak with older relatives before the opportunity is gone. Maybe you simply love the sound of the language and the culture it carries, and you want to feel closer to it. You tried a course once years ago. You downloaded an app, used it for a few weeks until the streak broke, and the guilt of not opening it became reason enough to delete it entirely. The problem was not your motivation. Motivation is not the issue for most language learners. The problem was that none of it felt like real language. You could match words to pictures. You could repeat phrases in a format that bore no resemblance to how an actual conversation works. You could not ask a question and understand the answer. The gap between studying and speaking felt enormous and unbridgeable. Today, that gap has closed in ways that are genuinely exciting. The most significant development in AI language learning is the arrival of conversational AI partners that you can speak with at any time, in any language, at whatever level you are currently at. Tools like Speak, which is specifically designed around spoken conversation practice, and the conversational modes built into modern language platforms, use large language models to hold genuine back-and-forth exchanges with you in your target language. They respond naturally. They understand context and imperfect grammar. They adapt to your level without making you feel patronized, and critically, they correct your mistakes in real time without making you feel embarrassed or discouraged. If you say something grammatically incorrect, the AI will typically acknowledge what you meant, gently model the correct form in its response, and continue the conversation without making a lesson of it. There is no judgment, no frustration, no waiting for a tutor to have availability. No cancellation fee when life gets in the way. You can practice spoken Italian at 11 o'clock at night in your kitchen while you are washing up, or in the car on the way to work, or in 10 minutes between meetings. That kind of frictionless, always available access to conversation practice changes the learning trajectory in a very meaningful way. Duolingo, which most people are familiar with as a gamified vocabulary app, has also invested heavily in AI features that make its newer offerings significantly more sophisticated than the version most people remember. The AI-powered conversation practice within the app now simulates realistic dialogue scenarios: ordering in a restaurant, navigating a train station, having a disagreement with a flatmate, rather than the abstract sentence translation exercises that defined the earlier experience. The difference between repeating "the cat drinks milk" and practicing how to ask whether a seat is taken on a busy train is the difference between studying language and using it. What AI is also remarkably good at is personalizing the learning experience around your actual life. rather than giving you a generic curriculum designed for an imaginary average learner. Instead of working through topics in the order a textbook publisher decided made sense, you can tell an AI language tutor specifically why you are learning and what you need. If you are learning French because you are moving to Paris for a new job in the finance industry, you can describe that context and ask the AI to build your learning around the vocabulary, phrases, and conversational situations that are genuinely relevant to your life. Workplace conversations, transport, social situations with colleagues, navigating administrative processes in a new country. The AI focuses its energy on what you will actually use, which dramatically reduces the sense that you are studying things that will never matter to you. That sense of relevance is one of the most powerful drivers of sustained motivation. Pronunciation is one of the areas where AI has made the most striking improvements, because historically it was almost impossible to get meaningful feedback on your pronunciation without a native speaker or a trained language teacher present. Apps now use AI to listen to you speak and give you precise, specific feedback on individual sounds, not just telling you that your accent needs improvement, but showing you visually and auditorily how your pronunciation of a particular vowel or consonant differs from a native speaker's version, and giving you targeted exercises designed to address that specific gap. For languages where pronunciation significantly affects meaning, Mandarin Chinese, Vietnamese, or tonal languages more broadly, this kind of precise, real-time feedback used to require an expensive specialist tutor. Now it lives in an app on your phone and is available whenever you have 10 minutes to practice. There are also AI tools specifically designed to address the part of language learning that many people find hardest, even when their classroom skills are quite solid, which is understanding real native speakers in real conversations. The speed, the contractions, the slang, the regional accents, the way sentences trail off or overlap, all of these things can make even a technically competent language learner feel completely lost in an actual conversation with actual people. Apps like Language Reactor allow you to watch films and television programs in your target language with dual subtitles, one in the target language and one in your native language. And the AI highlights vocabulary you are likely to be learning at your current level, lets you click on any word for an instant definition and pronunciation guide, and automatically adds those words to a personal spaced repetition review deck. You are learning from real, natural, unscripted speech rather than the carefully enunciated examples in a classroom recording. And the AI is managing the infrastructure of that learning entirely in the background while you simply watch something interesting. Spaced repetition itself, the practice of reviewing vocabulary at precisely the intervals that research has shown maximize long-term retention, has been around for decades. But AI has made it significantly more sophisticated. Rather than reviewing all words on the same schedule, AI-powered vocabulary tools like Anki with its smart scheduling algorithms, or the built-in review systems in modern language apps, track not just whether you got a word right or wrong, but how quickly you recalled it, how confident you seemed, how recently you encountered it in a different context, and how similar it is to other words that cause you confusion. The review schedule it generates is genuinely optimized for your memory and your specific challenges, which means less time reviewing things you already know solidly and more time on the things that are actually slipping away. I want to be honest about what AI cannot fully replace, because I think it matters, and because language learning deserves honesty. The discomfort of a real human conversation in a foreign language, the stumbling, the misunderstandings, the moment when someone speaks too fast and you have to ask them to repeat themselves and feel slightly embarrassed, is something that AI practice does not entirely prepare you for. Real conversations have social stakes, and those stakes create a kind of engaged attention that is genuinely useful for memory consolidation and for developing the flexibility that real language use requires. I would always encourage you to combine AI tools with real human practice when you can, even if that is just occasional sessions through a language exchange app like Tandem or Hello Talk, where you speak with a native speaker who is learning your language in exchange. The AI prepares you thoroughly. The humans test what you have built. But as a way to get started, to build a consistent daily practice, to accelerate through the early and middle stages of learning in a way that fits around your actual life and your actual schedule, AI language tools in 2026 are extraordinary. The question is no longer whether you have the time or the money or the access to the right teacher to learn a language. The question is simply whether you want to, and whether you are willing to practice consistently. Everything else is now handled. Next time, we will talk about how artificial intelligence can help you with smarter meal prep on busy days. Because eating well, without spending hours in the kitchen, is something most of us would love to figure out. Have a wonderful day.